Good afternoon, everyone. A little bit of a different backdrop and setup. I am at Equine College in Plettenberg Bay, the college which offers the degree in veterinary physiotherapy, and I have with me Marinette Teeling. She is the principal of the college, and I'd really like to ask her a few questions. So I'm very grateful to you for lending me your time, giving me your time. I know how busy you are, and thank you very much for the privilege of teaching your students. Talk to me about the degree.
Okay. First, I want to say thank you for chatting to me, and thank you for being here. It's great to have a diverse group of people that teach us, and we really enjoy having you here. So now I forgot the question.
Tell me about the degree.
The degree. So it's taken us some time to actually get it accredited, but it's a 4-year full-time degree into vet physio, and we basically start first year very much anatomy and physiology based, some basic introduction to massage techniques and some basic physio, and then it gets a little bit more complex throughout the 4 years up until their final year. And then when they finish, they leave and they can actually do the work.
Okay, so I'm aware that there's a large practical component, and behind us we're actually, if we move a little out the way, we've got the horse arena behind us, but you do primarily horses and dogs?
Yeah, so the main focus is horse and dogs and cats. Yes, so we use horse, dog, and then comparative a little bit into cat, and then hopefully we've set them up in a way that they can transfer that information over if they need to ever see something that's similar. So we've had some opportunities to treat some wildlife. We've done some penguins, and we've done some cheetahs, and some rabbits and rats and those kind of things. So we need to set them up so that they can actually reason within what they've been taught and work in a little bit of a environment that they haven't physically been trained for. Yeah. So
excellent. So I can vouch for the quality of the students. 2 of the graduates actually work for Animal Health and Hydro, and they really bring a different set of skills to our company. Marinette, can you tell me what are the requirements to gain access to the degree? How does someone apply for the degree?
So it's actually been quite an interesting road, because standing on the outside, you always kind of see things from an outsider's point of view. So, for example, if you apply for vet science, you kind of know that you need to score 8 A's and you need to be in the top 10% of the country. But basically, you need maths, the full maths, not maths lits, and you need physics. Those are our 2 big requirements, and you actually just have to pass them. Where it becomes a little bit more complex is when we have many applicants, because then obviously we look at the guys that have scored a little bit higher. Our pass rate for our applied therapy is 60%, so we base it on that. So the admission requirements is 50%. You can apply with that, but the chances of actually being accepted on a 50% is not as good, so you should be scoring a little bit higher. We do also require MBT tests, and that's I think a fairer way of looking at a person's ability, because they test it in a standardized manner. Obviously different schools teaches on different levels, and the NBTs gives us a nice like a benchmark of what we can work from. Yeah.
Okay.
And sorry Tanya, the other thing that's very recommended is that they've had some exposure to animals, because obviously if you've been in the equine industry, or you've done some rider work, or you've worked in a stable, or you've worked at a vet, it shows us that you have a little bit of basic handling, and 2, it also done some preparation work, because it is a slightly expensive degree, because it's a private institute. So we really like to have people commit that really want to do it, and that yes, yeah.
Okay.
So it's recommended.
Cool. So I can, there is nothing non-physical actually about being a physical rehabilitation practitioner or a veterinary physiotherapist. What about students that have studied before?
So yes, it's great if you've studied before. One, because then you've had some exposure to something else, which is good. And then you also know that this is what you want to do. So we've got quite a few applicants that come in from a BSc background, for example. But if you come from a vet background or from a vet nursing background or a vet physio, a human medical physio background, you can have some credits. So we recognize from RPL point of view. So we recognize previous learning. So then you won't have to necessarily spend 4 years here. Yeah. Okay. So then you do have some credits.
Cool. That's good to know. And how did the college come about? I mean, it's been a long road. Marinette and I have been on the Vet Council Physiotherapy Subcommittee to promulgate it as a new profession. And that's been more than 10 years in the making. But I think Equilibrium began way before that.
So, interesting enough, Ronelle moved down, Ronelle van der Stede, she's the CEO of the college, and she had 2 or 3 people that have asked her if she can teach them how to massage. That's where I think the first thing started. And she realized that there's a need for training and education. So she came to speak to Prof. Sabran van der Berg and to myself, and as it was just a time for change for me down when I was in Cape Town, and that's how it started. So the 3 of us sat together and we thought that we'll put something together, and as the road starts going you realize it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger, and there's more hoops to jump through, and so yeah, now it's myself and Ronelle and Prof. Sabran and Dr. Tom Ovendale that basically direct the college. Yeah.
So quite an achievement, and if you're ever in Plettenberg Bay, I would recommend that you come out here and have a look at the college. Lots of paddocks, excellent stables, wonderful facilities, really, really well done. Well done for getting to this point. For anybody who's following a dream, I think you know what dedication it takes to actually make it happen. So, Marinette, what about veterinary physiotherapy as a profession with a registered degree in comparison to the rest of the world?
So, Tanya, as you know, I think we're the first country that have actually promulgated a standalone profession, and I think that's a really good thing. I think it's really important for us to be recognized as a profession and a role to play in the taking care of patients. I think it's really important, and I'm obviously passionate about the field, and I'm very passionate about the field to make sure that people know what they're doing, so that we can make sure of highest standard. I think it's important that people are accountable for what they do. So yes, so I'm super excited about it, and I think South Africa is pretty good at being the first country to do that. I'm hoping that other countries will follow suit, and hoping, or well, I hope they're welcome to come and ask for how we've done it, because I think we've jumped through some hoops, and we've ironed out some difficulties. So I think we could probably help them with that. And I think the group that has put this together was really comprehensive, because it wasn't only physios or only vets, or we had a very diverse group of people that sat down together and moved this thing forward. And I think that's what made it I think maybe a bit more successful in my opinion. So I'm glad that we are where we are.
And I think that's also reflected in the caliber of the lecturers. You get a lot of well-known lecturers from Onderstepoort to come and teach your students. So, yeah, and they do get a really good background. So I'm going to just have a look to see if there's any questions. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up. I just anything you want to say. I guess what I really want to know is anything you want to say to the veterinary profession, because we've both kind of like walked a road in terms of trying to get our my veterinary colleagues to recognize that this is a adjunctive. It really is something that can assist with large and small patients.
Tanya, I think the difficult thing for a lot of people, and even from when you start working in the field, is that you very quickly feel threatened is a hard word to use, but when you start working, even as a physio, you feel threatened that somebody's going to step within your little sphere of working. And I think it's important for us to realize that from that point of view, as colleagues, at the end of the day, we've got the best interest of the animals at heart. So as colleagues from a physio point of view, if you're unsure of a certain pathology or a certain condition that you're working with, I think you should refer it. I think you should chat to a colleague. If we talk about different professions within the vet industry, I think we need to realize that we all come with our own set of skills, and we're I'm going to call it experts in our set of skills, and I think that's important to realize, and to not feel that somebody's trying to overstep a bound or to a boundary, or to try and take away something from you, but that they actually want to bring something to the table. And I think that's what's important. At the end of the day, we want the best care we can for our animals, and that's what we should focus on.
Excellent. So I agree, and for those of you that have known me for a while, I believe there's enough for everyone. And so long as our patients get the best that they can, that's what we should be aiming for. Marinette, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
I really appreciate your time.
I'm glad you're still around for a few days in Plate.
Me too. Robberg is calling. Thanks, everyone.